We are live now that the old people are done talking for 3 freaking hours. Welcome to the Shooters Brief Podcast. I'm Nick.
I'm Nick.
This is where we talk about whatever the hell we want to talk about and not get all sentimental and cryy huggy face like the Tyler and Jeff podcast.
13 to 10, Tyler. 13 to 10. It's all that matters.
Man, he is he's very beholden to that sports team for some reason I'm sure I don't understand.
Yeah.
So what's up, buddy? What have you been up to?
Not a whole lot, man. Work and shoot and work. Shot the Alabama Hunter. Me and Russ went out there and put it down, third and fourth. Other than that, just teaching, shooting, kind of work sometimes.
Hell yeah. You guys are
About
shooting individual or team?
We shot that individual because he was a last minute addition. I shot it as an RO,
Yeah.
which is kind of interesting. We can talk about that a little bit, but
Yeah,
we're shooting Mason Valley this coming weekend as a team.
Yeah, it must be nice. Work got in the way for me to do that one.
We decided to go Team Chonky Boy for this one, so he's shooting 6.5 PRC and I'm shooting 300 SAUM. We are not
Jesus,
losing
what were
on
you?
power
Were you
factor.
shooting SAUM at that last one?
No, I was shooting 6.5 Creed with factory ammo, so I lost second place on power factor.
So I understand the concept of power factor like a big USPSA guy, but
Yeah,
the way Hunter does power factor makes no sense to me.
it's bullet speed times bullet weight of whatever you shoot like at your 0 day. So you could have 5 hot rod rounds and go shoot them and get your power factor up or whatever. There's ways to game it if you really wanted to be a douchebag.
Yeah, but why wouldn't you do bullet speed divided by bullet weight? So you have like a real you're in the hundreds of thousands on power factor for NRL Hunter. I don't understand. Like you just be in the hundreds, dude.
380,000 is the minimum, and I'm sitting at like 560,000 for the SAUM right now. So I don't think we're gonna lose again.
That's great. Fuck that steal. It's Surge and Jeff steal anyway. Fuck it.
Surge a steal.
It is. Oh, yeah, that's true. Teacher for the company. Did you run a class since we last talked?
Yeah. I feel like we haven't been on this in like 3 months. But
a month.
Yeah, we just had PR1. We had Gramps out.
That's right. Oh yeah, that's right. How'd you like it?
Gramps is awesome, man. He's a freaking cool dude.
Dude, he just wants to come and have a good time.
He's just there to party. He shoots good. He racked 1300 a few times with a 223 bolt gun. With what was he shooting? 77 grain Winchester ammo.
Yeah, normally.
Man can shoot. Can't get in a proper position because he's old and beat up, but he can shoot.
And sometimes it'd be like that, right? That's something I've known him for coming up on 5 years probably at this point. I keep telling him like, hey man, if you're gonna sacrifice certain fundamentals because you can't get into position, then everything else just has to be, Nat's ass perfect, and he can focus when he needs to. Just don't look through his optic, man. It's like the Vaseline is real because it's ocular.
I did. I looked and was like, I think that's the target. Pow. Ding. All right, yeah, your zero's good, buddy.
Yep.
He's taking PR2 next month also. It should be.
Is he? Hell yeah.
A thrill.
Yeah, I think he's taking the train up with me, or he's taking a class with me this summer too, or this spring.
Okay. Yeah, he's taking PR2, and we talked about going up the hill for day 3, and he said, "Fuck that." Fair enough. That would be my sentiment at your age too, man.
Hell yeah, Gramps. Keep doing what you're doing, bud.
Hell yeah. What have you been up to, buddy?
I mean, southern border shit with the new administration at work, just getting crazy, getting after it. Had our first law enforcement class of the year in February. Yeah, this month I was out there. First February I've taught at the new property where we didn't get weird weather. Like it was beautiful. It was 65 every day. Wind was, 15 to 20, so nice for our range. Like it was great. Super awesome group of dudes. Had CHP. I didn't even know CHP had snipers. Like that was kind of interesting. They could shoot.
I've competed against the CHP snipers at the police and fire games before. That dude wanted like fucking cleaned house on everything.
Yeah, no, they're definitely very good at what they do. A lot of like what we would consider like national style tasking. Like they do a lot of shit up at the Capitol and stuff like that. So very interesting. Had a guy shoot a perfect score on the qual and dump 2 on the steel.
Oh,
yeah. So he cleaned the hardest part. Dude, he cleaned the hardest part, and he messed up on the fundamental marksmanships of standing, kneeling, seated, prone, unsupported, which I always preach to the guys. I'm like, you can do whatever you want, man, but this is fundamental marksmanship. If you can't hit that 12-inch piece, like, it doesn't
that
count.
close to getting his target hung on the wall. That close.
He was. He was, and it would just be one more student that I have taught that has a perfect score versus the 2 that Tyler has taught or 3 that Tyler has taught that has a perfect score. So
And we got a good little stack of those targets going in the back of the ones you taught.
I know I got to buy some more of the like frames for them so we can get them up. Actually, I'll write
I
that
gotta
down.
shoot that one of these days. I've never actually shot the LE qual target just straight through.
It's great. I love it. I've never been a student of our company, unfortunately, so I'll never get a chance to shoot it unless I just come audit a class like as an AI. But it's a great qual, basic, advanced, like it'll test you. And then, the way you and I usually shoot our drills is like running your own timer just adds like that little tiny extra into it. So some of those times
Yeah.
can get a little sporty.
Yeah, I did the new back of the target one. That was cool.
The SMOD, I like the SMOD. I think it's a good like evolution, and it's a good thing for like a lot of the LA sustainment we do for the Southwest guys. Like I just run the SMOD. It's like, hey, dude, this is a fairly comprehensive eval of where you are and where you suck, and then we'll focus on what you didn't do well because it'll tell me exactly where you're at on like barricade deployment, multi-shot, multi-target. Like it's not you can either do it or you can.
So how do you fix if a student can't read good? Because that's what happened to me. I shot the qual perfect, but one of them I shot prone with the mag change one. And I went, wait a minute, I feel like I wasn't supposed to shoot this prone, read it again, like, oh, off a tripod. So I shot it again. Still cleaned it, but reading's hard.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Reading is hard, and then like this next advance we got come up in March. It's a packed house, and like we only have the backer space we have. So when it's like qual target, qual target, qual target, qual target, it's like, hey, bro, your law enforcement target ID is a part of our job. Yeah, if you shoot your buddy's target, it helps him and hurts you. So, nah, good stuff. Other than that, trying to be a dad. I'm gearing up for the special operations sniper match in March, and then I'm going to the international match in April. So just trying to shoot the workouts as much as I can.
So yeah, USASOC and ISC this year?
The way it shook out, yeah.
Is ISC still Benning? Or is that somewhere else now?
Nope. Army Schoolhouse still at Benning. Really had a lot of fun last year. Really well ran match. They took all the night stages out of it because they wanted to make it just like not based on technology, based on shooting ability, which is cool. They're putting night stages in this year, I'm pretty sure. So if they run it, if they take the feedback we gave last year, it's going to be a monster of a match this year. They're going to have a really competitive, really good match on their hands again.
Awesome. You guys crushed it last year, right? You were first or second place going into the last day?
We were in first place going the last day. They did like March Madness knockout style brackets, and we ended up getting beat by SIFSIC, the Special Forces Schoolhouse team, by one impact on the last target. Both of us got to the last target of one stage. 1 round left. They hit. We like literally cut the shirt on the target and missed by like 0.1 call. Yeah, way out of distance on one of their ranges. Yeah, so it was really cool though. Very really great experience. Great group of guys. Like 5th through first place was like 9-point difference on a 600-point aggregate. Like it was a really really tight match. So that's what you want, right? You want you want a competition. You don't want somebody running away with it.
But the top guys are all within 5%, if my math's right.
Oh yeah, no, I mean top 10 was probably less than 7%.
Damn.
Yeah, really, really cool, really fun. I'm getting a little old to be running around Fort Benning, but keep going until my hip blows out, I guess.
You look a lot older than you are. You'll be fine.
Thanks. My wife says it's the mustache.
Yeah, we could go with that.
Hell yeah.
Do you have any other non-work competitions coming?
I mean, trying to shoot the locals, trying to shoot Paula. I guess there's a fruit stand match, but that's the day I come back from USAC, so I'm not going to be able to shoot that one. That's the Southwest. That's SoCal Long Range is putting on.
That's March, right? 22nd or something?
Yeah, 22nd. But again, I'm traveling back from the East Coast, so sad to miss that one because that's literally our range, which would be cool.
Yeah. You do Yuma in April?
When is it? End of April?
26th, something like that. Yeah, end of April.
I could probably do. Is it QP?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will definitely be trying to shoot that one for sure.
Quite possibly the last QP match I shoot there, man. They're getting kind of janky.
Are they? That sucks. Yeah, I'll dust my 5.56 off and come out there and play with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Other than that, I think the only other one is I've got a competition dynamics in Wyoming with Dave Castro in May. It's team match. That's the Burris run and gun.
That's also in May? Because Steel so far is in May.
Yeah. No, that's in Yeah, it's like the third week in May, something like that.
Why would they run
Or
them so
maybe
close
June. No,
together?
it's
That's
June.
weird.
It's June. It's in June. No, I'm
Okay.
completely lost. It's in June.
Okay, because Steel Safari is like May 8th or something like that. May 8th to 11th.
Of course, yeah, no, it's probably the weekend before LE, which means I can't go shoot it because I got to be out our property getting ready for the cop class.
Yeah, sucks to suck.
I do it to myself.
That's true. No,
You
that's cool.
build
You're shooting
anything
with
new?
Dave.
Get yeah, it'll be fun. We both are fairly accomplished pistol shooters, so apparently you can make up a lot of time. That match is like you get a set amount of time to just shoot through, and it's penalty. It's kind of like QP. It's penalties for targets left, and
I've shot
it's
that match before a couple times.
yeah, the burst. So apparently you can make up some time on the pistol stuff, which I'm planning on doing with us.
Unless they've changed something, the pistol stuff was all like the assault courses in the afternoon. You can make up a lot of
Yeah,
points in there. But
yeah,
the
that's what we're talking about. Not time, sorry,
okay,
points.
the field course is timed. You get an hour to finish the field course, and you get to
Yeah,
play through. That was where I
yes,
learned that Tate Streeter is not only a great shooter, but he's super athletic.
yeah. Yeah, I watched
It doesn't look
Sky
like it,
Thomas.
but he is.
Yeah, Sky Thomas and whatever the other guy was. I watched their like YouTube video on it from last year. Looks like a blast. Like looks like right up my, you're my alley. Like we love doing that kind of stuff. So definitely
It's
looking
fun. It's a
forward
fun
to it.
match. It's
Yeah,
it'll beat you down a little bit.
yeah, I'm used to it. Like,
Moving across terrain on the clock is it's challenging.
and back to my argument about Fort Benning. This is just the year of the run and gun for me, I guess.
One last good year in you, huh?
No, I got many, many more. Shit.
All right, good.
Once I stop jumping out of helicopters around on small boats for a living, I'll probably be able to heal.
Didn't you just swim across the Atlantic or some shit too? You're fine.
Yeah, that's Scout Swimmer school. I did get Helocast qualified. That was pretty fun. That was definitely a high water mark for the career. Jumping out of a helicopter in the water on purpose. It's a big, scary thing. So, got to make sure you do it right
I guess doing it on purpose is better than doing it on accident.
every time.
All right, you want to grab one of these questions?
Grab a question.
All right, so we threw these out on the Instagrams, I don't know, a while ago because we were supposed to do this a while back. Eric Nutter, who is, I think I just saw his name on one of the student rosters. What's a good complete tripod setup for $1,000 that can be used for comps use and maybe hunting? So we're fairly partial to two vets, most of us. Really Right Stuff is about the same quality, but more expensive. The
Yeah.
two vets QDT that I'm using, I think is like 6 or 650. If you're willing to go a hair over $1,000, the RRS Anvil 30 ball head is probably top of the line. Leo Photo just made one that's, we'll say it's not a clone, but it's a clone for I think $200, $180, something like that. I've had hands
It's
on one.
classic.
It seemed, yeah, it seemed solid. Didn't
It's
put a lot of time on
Leophoto.
it, but
Like they're gonna Timu copy everything because cease and desist doesn't exist where they are
that's
home
true.
ported. So yeah, like, and that's a pretty broad spectrum he just asked for too, like competition and hunting. Like, yeah, man, I've taken a tripod on a hunt twice, and I regretted my tripod choice both times because it was my big fat one that I bring out to spot with at the range. So like, if you want a jack of all trades, it's going to do there's a lot of options out there, and most of them are going to do everything well. None of them are going to really shine at one thing or the other. They'll just be kind of like a medium value for you. Because if you want something lightweight, you're going to lose a little bit of stability, but then it'll be stable enough. It'll be better than nothing. Like I love two vets. I have a shitload of really rights. It's like Tangent Theta and ZCO versus like Night Force and Loophole, right? Like, there's just like little tiny things that make one slightly better than the other, and that price point reflects that. But definitely go carbon fiber. And if you want to stay under that threshold, that's a hard $1,000 threshold. I'd say less money on the tripod to a point. Stay within like a good manufacturer. Make sure you get a rock solid ball head because it's like the scope mount. Like we see it in class all the time. Guy has a really nice scope, really nice rifle. He bought like no name Amazon rings, and it's like that's the only touch point where those two things talk to each other. Like, not where you want to save money. Kind of same thing with the tripod. Like the tripod does the stability, it has all your support for you, and you have your rifle. Don't skimp out on the only part where those two things are going to interface. Like make sure it's a good solid connection between the two.
Yeah, 100% agree. If you have a shitty ball head or you see something that some grandpa dude had at a range one time with remember the old Manfrotto pistol grip ones? None of that crap. Just a
Uh,
good solid ball head.
It can hear you. It's sitting in my garage right now.
I have one in the room right behind me.
Yeah, my original tripod from sniper school is sitting out there with a saddle on it
Yep, I got a
and
hog
tan
saddle.
spray
I got
paint.
the evolution's good.
It's great. I bring it to the advanced LE classes because I'm like, this is where we started, and then I grab my RS or my two vets, and I'm like, and this is where we are, and I want you to shoot off both so you can see why. When talk comes to gear, it's a buy once, cry once situation these days.
The old aluminum slicks and Manfrottos.
I mean, they work. Do they work? Absolutely. Do you have to do some more things with them? Also, absolutely. You know, there's ways to make your gear work for you. If you're going clean slate, you got to be realistic about what the budgetary constraints are of your department, and I get that. But you can still you can find some. You don't have to go buy an RRS for $1,600, right? Like,
No.
again, can't say enough good things about two vets, man. They got really good options for under 600 or $600 and right below $600. Like, the no name's what, like 5 and change.
Yeah, the Recon's right in there somewhere too, like 480, 450, something like that, if I remember right.
Rock solid tripods for entry level stuff. You know, like you don't have to go break the bank. You're already a couple grand into your gun and optic, I guarantee you. So,
Oh yeah.
not the spot to go cheap.
Arca, 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 go Arca, go Arca.
Arca, R-Lock, or a clone of it if you can, would be highly recommended. Or I know you don't like it. I know.
I don't like
I've
my
got
tripod
some of
telling
the
me what to do.
Yeah, some of the work, some of the Arca rails I got on the work guns from Sawtooth are all R-Lock, and so are my anvils. So I'm starting to see the benefit of them because it doesn't walk when I'm shooting repetitively over and over and over again from tripod positions. Like, I like that it doesn't walk, and I don't have to like snap my thumb off because it's tightened up so hard. So I get it. I also just put the stopper nuts on my stuff and run it that way.
Yeah, it works too. I took all my stopper nuts off because I kept trying to slide stuff out of the way and it didn't work.
You just unbuckle it.
I don't have the QDs. I have the knobs because I'm poor.
Oh.
So I
Oh
would
yeah,
just
you're
crank it
poor.
quarter turn and slide it off.
Yeah, you're poor. Let's open up that safe real quick. You're the only guy on the team with the ZCO, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, probably. No, Russ has one.
Oh,
Russ
all
also
right.
has like 3 tangents. So
Yeah, Daddy Warbucks with 9 Jeeps has got everything. I think
the
Russ has
main
bought every
reason,
pair of ranging binos that's ever come out.
yes, and he just bought more. He just bought the new SIGs. Got the Vectronics fixed up with their new firmware update. So he's got like a bundle of range-finding binos coming to Mason Valley with us.
It's great.
The reason I took R-Lock off of my tripods is because that stupid little flip tab thing was fucking driving me nuts. So I
Yeah.
went on the YouTubes and I figured out how to yank it all apart, and I took all the R-Lock crap off, and it's sitting right here. All the parts from both my tripods.
There you go. By the way, it's not lost on me that we're both in law enforcement and we both just have a stack of dime bags in our garage because it holds all of those little ancillary parts that we take off of all of this shit.
Yeah, I got, let's see, 3, 6. I got like 11 of them sitting on the back of my workbench right now with gun parts in them.
Oh yeah, dude, I've got drawers in a big Craftsman, and it's just little Sharpie labels on dime bags of like, I have no clue what this goes to.
Yeah, I'll forget. All right, let's get one for
we
you.
do too much.
Yeah, but like we get stuff, and then it's too late for us to sell it by the time we're done using it.
Yeah,
if nobody wants it, they want the new that we want. So
yeah, and it's been up and down the field course about 100 times, so it's not. It's serviceable.
yeah, it works kind of. How often and for what duration would you recommend dry fire?
That's hard, you know. As often as you can without completely messing your schedule up. If you have access to a range that's close and you can live fire and you have the money, you know, to go do 100 rounds a week, like, brother, more power to you, man. You're far and away over what most of us are capable of getting accomplished. Most of us can't do that. Most of us have lives and families and kids and dogs and, you know, in-laws and stuff that's happening. So I would say as often as you can without interrupting your normal life schedule, or you can interrupt your life schedule. Again, I go back to my heroin comment. Like, you turn this into the thing your family hates about you. Realistically, like for me with pistol, I was that psychopath. I'd shoot all the light switches to my house twice every day when I got home. Just dry fire, like coming into rooms, working on settling in position, settling the sight, settling the dot, press, 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 press. All right, that's this room, rack the gun. So I'm fresh coming to the next room, press, 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 press. 5 to 10 minutes a day is going to do you way more good than none. 5 minutes a day is going to do you more good than no minutes a day. I find myself, my wife hates it when I go clean the garage because usually one of the safes ends up being open and I'm out there dry firing all of a sudden. So I would say as much as you can get away with without completely interrupting your schedule, it's all going to be a value add. That being said, make sure it's good reps. Don't just go out there. And we do this a lot in the pistol world is dudes will go out there and they'll be like, I dry fired for an hour a night. And they're just out there just doing the same thing, or they're doing draw fire ones. They're doing nothing that's practically applicable to what they're going to be doing in a match or doing for their job. You should come to dry fire like you come to live fire. You need to have a plan. You need to have a goal. You need to figure out what you're going to do to get from A to B. It's just like lifting weights. Like, you don't just go out there and start chucking kettlebells around and think it's going to like somehow get you ready to go, roll at jiu-jitsu the next night. Like, you need to focus on like, yeah, man, this guy was trialing the shit out of me last night. Like, what do I need to work on to make sure I can, like get that arm in there and hold? Or you need to focus on what your deficiencies are. You need to have a plan for that, even when you come into dry fire. I'd say that's like a way bigger thing than like amount is focused reps, like the dry fire playbook we give to the LE guys, like something like that just lays out like this many reps of this, move on to this many reps of this, and it should be progressive. Like I do my warm up, and then I do my first set, and then I do my second set, like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm kind of along the same lines. I'll do, nerd out and I'll dry fire every day for a week for 10 minutes, whatever. But then you get to the point where like you get bored and kind of diminishing returns. So then you just kind of roll it into maintenance. Like, okay, I got 4 minutes right now before I got to leave for work. Unload real quick, dry fire. Okay, I'm out the door. And just kind of maintain what you've been building when you don't have the time or the discipline to sit and have a full, 10, 15-minute dry fire session.
Absolutely. For me, like I equate it to, we did work range, like, carbine pistol range. Haven't done one since the new year started. And for me, the good limitless test is always like, when I grab that gun to rip off live rounds, the first string, like, does it feel familiar or does it feel foreign? If it feels foreign, I'm not doing enough maintenance, right? I'm not doing enough dry fire. I need to get more reps in. I grabbed that thing and started shooting one of Mike Panone's like cold drills, like one of his, Qual LE, like the MEC solutions or whatever. Like I forget where we shop, but like just started ripping into something that's on time and on accuracy standards. And it felt like I'd been shooting the last week. So I know like, yeah, my pistol reps are good. We go out to the LE class and I've got a hot demo and I'm like, I pray this goes where it's supposed to go. Like I should probably be doing a couple more dry fire reps.
That's true. So that should have answered his question.
Yeah, that's good one. I like that. Yeah, it's a maintenance thing, right? Like it's just keeping that mind body connection sharp and working where it should be.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody sees my Instagram and I talk a lot of shit about my coworkers, guys will spend, twice a week or twice a month or 3 times a month getting their hair cut or doing other stupid shit. Like, I don't have time to dry fire. I don't have time for this. I don't have money for this. Well, don't lift your 2-wheel drive truck. Stop getting weekly haircuts. Spend that time dry firing. You're good.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
I know you saw that. I know you saw that story this week of like, can you imagine if law enforcement instructors had to actually compete to keep their jobs?
Oh, yeah,
like whatever that was going around. I was like, say it louder, yell it from the highest rooftop. Like
I am all about that. Put up or shut up.
Yeah,
guys land on their laurels because they were good 10 years ago. Well, you suck now, so keep going.
Yeah, like I was painting a work gun today, and I was dry firing that thing while I was painting it, and I got paint all over my hands and shit still. Because like, why not, dude? I'm here. Like, I didn't shave today because I had other shit going on. I'm just gonna get some reps in while I'm painting this gun and getting high in the back of the warehouse.
Is it straight tan? Will it make Tyler happy?
It was straight tan. I added some earth tones.
I just painted my Ridgeline tan just because I didn't want to have another black rifle. And Tyler hates it so much. Now it's going to stay tan. Like I eventually had plans to throw some green or brown or something in there, but no, not anymore.
I love your Ridgeline. I think it looks great, especially as the black's wearing through. Like I think it looks awesome.
This just came off my Ridgeline when I swapped the grip out. So yeah, it gets it to you.
What'd you put on?
K2XL. A little more vertical, little chunkier.
I do the K2s because I like that again. Yeah, that getting as close to that vertical just for that, keep that consistent pressure. Yeah.
Yep.
Preach.
Yeah, buddy.
Do we just become best friends?
Again?
Again.
Do you use piggyback red dots? I don't know that I've ever seen on your gun because you always got LRFs on there, right?
I don't always have
most part.
LRFs, but I am the protected cast. I have access to LRFs. So yes, all of my guns have diving boards. I do not use red dots. I'll let you speak to this one first, and then I'll chime in with my frothing opinion.
All right. So the question is from Andrew, who's a former student. How do you use piggyback red dots for QP and PRS? So to start off, those are two separate things, right? For PRS, for field matches, for the most part. Why am I getting confetti on my screen?
You're just popular.
Is that because I did this? I don't
Yes.
know. Anyway, those are two separate things. So for PRS, for competition dynamics, field matches, if I'm running a red dot, it's for target acquisition out in the field. So I will line my gun up at whatever I think the median range will going to be for that match, say 500 yards. I think most of the targets will be about 500. I'll put my gun on the target at 500 with my dope dial, and I will bring that red dot down to the target, and that's it. I'm not firing at 500 with a red dot, but when I get into a position off of a rock or a tripod or whatever, I can look downrange, put the red dot in front of my eye, and drop my head in the scope, and I'm going to be close-ish. Um, for QP, I actually do use it, so I zero that thing at 100. Every QP match has a stage called the mid-range quantifier, which starts off with two targets at about 100 yards that you have to shoot unsupported standing. So come up, red dot bam, and I'm already dialed for my middle targets, which is that next set, which is usually 350, somewhere in there. So instead of having to look through my magnified optic with zero dialed for my 100, and then hold over for the middle targets, hold over for the far target, I red dot the two close ones, and then I'm already dialed for the middle three, and then I hold for the far.
Yeah.
That's pretty much
So
it.
to me, that tracks. That sounds like a very good reason to have a red dot on, right? Is if I'm shooting unsupported at 100, the less magnification I have, the better, right? Because it
Yeah.
decreases the perceived wobble. I can focus on my target and my trigger press. I'm not chasing this infinity sign trying to make it go now because that's going to make you miss.
Yep.
For me, I hate where it's gone with PRS because it's just another whiz bang thing people can slap on a 30-pound six dasher and it makes me faster. It's like, all right, dude, like, no, it doesn't. It just rounds off some skills that you obviously don't want to work on because you want to get the new hot thing that Area 419 sold you to bolt onto your gun. Like, can you find targets without a red dot and index perfectly over the top of an elevation knob or, in my case, the dime board? Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Do it all the time. Yeah. For field style matches where or our range, if you're staring out there into this same exact background and scrub and all that shit, do I feel like it can help you? Also, absolutely, right? Like I get it. People get lost, especially just shifting position, or you're running back and forth. Like it's a tool. Use it for what it's for. I don't need a red dot at Paula to find the target I'm looking for. Like
Not at all.
what I see it as, a lot of people tend to use it as a crutch and they're magged in as high as they can get. And they're using their red dot to find their targets because they have a 3-foot field of view and they're looking for a 1-foot wide target. Like I see it as a crutch. That being said, on my LVPOs, especially my work guns, I absolutely run a 12 o'clock red dot for just that thing. Like I love to keep my LVPO at max power because that's what it's for. If I need to do stuff close, that's what the red dot's for. It gives me options. And then I can mag in, mag out. I can do everything I want with my LVPO. But again, that's not a scope. So I don't really use them on my scopes. I use them for other things.
Right.
But if you, hey man,
So,
makes you happy. You want to go buy an RMR HD and spend $600 and put it on top of your $5,000 rifle and get 14th at the local. Like, who am I to tell you no?
that Vegas class that I took last month before, whenever that was, it was a work class, so I snagged a work optic, which what we have is the RMR HD. So I had an RMR HD sitting on top of a Vortex Razor 1 to 10 on a $30 Monstrum Tactical Amazon mount
Ooh.
because they wouldn't buy me a good mount that I asked for just to go to the class. So like, oh, let's find something cheap. I zeroed at work, go to the class. I was like 3.5 inches high right on my red dot because that thing moved in the 3-hour drive to Vegas.
You didn't like hit it or anything?
Nope. Probably just bounced around in the bag in the back of my Forerunner.
Yeah, we have HDs at work too. I've got the
Okay.
Reptilia, like their top cap, and that thing's been rock solid because it actually interfaces with the scope rings.
Yeah, I'm familiar. That's what we're trying to push for, but just for the class to get the program off the ground, they said no way. Fair enough.
Yeah, for sure. How'd you like that 1 to 10?
For what we were doing, it was perfect.
Yeah.
For would I want to go shoot QP with a 1 to 10 and shoot the GP division? Nah.
No.
Shooting
So for
800
use of
yards with
stock,
it.
yeah. That's a stretch. So for USASOC, it's 2 308s. It's a 3-man team. It's 2 308s and a 5.56. The 5.56 can only go to 10 power. So we're running that this year. We're running that Vortex 1 to 10.
Yeah.
But
There's
the
probably not
argument's
a whole
always
lot-
like, go ahead.
I said there's probably not a whole lot better option than that 1 to 10. I mean, you got the Night Force 1 to 8s or whatever, but
Yeah, well, the argument nowadays with industry is like, do you run an LVPO or do you get a scope, right? Do you run like a 2.5 to 10, or do you run just a straight one? You know, because every sniper section, every special operations unit has LVPOs. Like you just have them; they're available. Swap them on whatever you want. So that's what most people shoot. But some dudes are starting to show up with like the new Mark Fives or the new Mark Fours, and it's a true
3 to
scope with
10.
parallax and all that shit. Yeah, and it's still just a 10 power. So we were waffling back and forth. I didn't think I could get one in time, so we're just running the Vortex. But I can tell you
It's not
right
a bad
now, if it
scope?
didn't, no, it's not a bad scope. If it doesn't work, I'm absolutely just going to buy a Mark 5, 10 power. I'll hopefully get my program guy to pay for it, but
Yeah, no, the
I
optics
I
not
like
bad. The glass is
scopes.
pretty clear.
It is. It decent, workable reticle. Good subtensions, not too busy, not big, huge, too fat lines, which is my biggest pet peeve with LVPOs.
Yeah. Combat reticles.
Sure.
All right, we got one more question. I'll let you take this one since we kind of talked about this before we started. Truing dope. How do you do it? Truing BC, truing velocity, and how much might you tweak the numbers? From Riley something, Leverton.
Yeah. So really, really good question. I feel like I have skin in this game. We got our first ballistic solvers back in 2013 when the ATRAG program was coming out from Todd Hodnett and all those guys, Brian Litz and Todd Hodnett. The first ballistic Kestrel I got was an old 5000 body with that program on. I still got it in my Vidmar. Back then, the only thing you could change to true was BC. So we were kind of onto something of like, if I know MV, I should probably I need to change a value to make my ballistic trajectory line up with what's actually happening from my solver to my actual round. So we got it. And then the new Kestrels came out, all the new ballistic solvers came out, and everything defaulted back to you're just going to change MV. And I'm like, okay, like it works. I'm point of aim, point of impact. Yeah, I'm matching my ballistic trajectory to what the round's actually doing. But I just bought the best chrono, at the time was like the Magneto was the king. I'm like, I have this really nice chronograph that's clearly accurate. So why am I just taking that known data point and chucking it out the window just to make it line up? Like it never really made sense to me. And then now, like, I know Tyler brought up a shot to some dudes and it's on the ballistic arc, or what's it called now? It's geoballistics or ballistic arc? Geoballistics. Yeah, dude, I'm so in the old stuff, but yeah, now it's a thing on every. Yeah, now it's a thing on all the ballistic solvers again. I can change BC, right? Because I know we're all running the Garmin chronos. Like it's the best, most accurate thing that's out there. Really, like it really is amazing what they managed to pack into that little tiny Kestrel, chrono. So again, I have known data point. I know all the other data about this thing. I know sight height, and we say all this at class, like sight height to the nearest 1/10 of an inch, got on your twist rate, I've got MV is one of the, zeroing distance to the nearest yard or meter. Like all of those inputs are very, very, very critical for a ballistic solver. I have a known solid data point with MV. Why am I going to flush that data point just to make it line up, right? Like my MV is not changing. What's actually probably happening is where am I getting my BC number from, right? I'm getting it from the box. I'm getting it from the manufacturer. Like that's great, man. They shoot 26-inch, 1.5 test guns to get their numbers at their factories. Like I've seen them. That's great. That's not my gun. That's not what I'm shooting. So to me, adjusting BC makes sense. That's why it drops down into the thousands. It's a 3 decimal thing. You just got to be really, really careful with it because if you start screwing BC too much, man, you can completely you just trash your whole ballistic solution at that point because it's thousands for a reason. Like a 0.002 adjustment can be several tenths of a mil at 600 yards. So you need to be very, very careful and very deliberate as you're adjusting if you're going to use BC to verify your ballistic trajectory.
Yeah, so I always use geoballistics once I started shooting with the team, and all that I knew how to do was muzzle velocity because that's what we were shown how to do, and I didn't even realize you could go in and true BC. You just had to kind of circumvent the app to do it.
Mm-hmm.
So Tyler showed me how to do that. I started working on that, and then they added this BC truing feature, and it wiped everything I had already done, which annoyed the shit out of me. But
Yep.
I mean, it worked good. I put it side by side with my Kestrel, with all the stuff trued up and out to a mile. I mean, they're different solvers. It's AB and geoballistics, right? But
Yeah.
out to a mile with the trued BCs, they're within a tenth on elevation. So
Yeah, which is great, you know. And again, use what works, use what you have available to you, but depending on your solver. What I didn't like is I sometimes, especially with my comp, you know, you get into the slippery like high BC, you know, 105, 108, 6 Creed, that kind of stuff, or Dasher, GT, whatever. I was having to change my BC by like 300 to 400 feet per second to get it to true, you know, to get it to line up. And it's like,
your BC or your muzzle velocity?
my MV, thank you. My MV. I was having to change it by several hundred feet. And now I'm getting weird data in mid-range and like clearly I did something wrong. And it started dawning on me like, why am I chasing this BC thing? Like I go back and blow apart my profile and make sure everything I'm supposed to be adding is as accurate as I can get it. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to do this anymore. Like I just defaulted back to just changing BC and check and change BC and check. And now that it's a inputable screen, it makes it way easier. That's my preferred method, honestly. I know it wiped all your hard work there, but
I basically gone and done that just without the app
yeah,
helping me do it, and then they just said, yeah, all your
no,
shit's gone.
100%. Yeah, I think one of the reasons a lot of the solvers didn't come with it is honestly, like unless you come take a class, like how many people buy the Brian Litz books and read about like what is ballistic coefficient? Like how many people actually know what BC means? They just know G1, G7 because this was printed on their box, right? So I think the engineers in their minds were like, John Q. Public's not ready for this level of adjustability because it's gonna start screwing them up, and it's ways to just be like, yeah, muzzle velocity. I understand how fast something goes, and to be able to change it. For me,
Yeah.
I have no idea if that's true or not, but for me, I would be like, yeah, if I'm bringing a product to market, like I want to make it fairly user friendly, you know. And I love geoballistics. Like the interface is super user friendly, right? It's super easy. It's a phone app, and there's only like 4 screens. I can't screw it up. So I think to me, that's probably where that came from. But now, as you know, as the community continues to grow, we continue to further refine the science behind what we do and get better cartridges and, you know, more stable powders. And we're just pushing the envelope on everything. I think people, you know, industry's ready to let everyone understand, hey, this is probably a way, this is also a way to do it. And it could be more accurate. I mean, I don't think one's more accurate than the other. I don't like chasing crazy shifts on muzzle velocity, you know, like if I'm changing, if I, you know, do crew with MV and it changes it like 10 feet per second, it's like, yeah, man, great. You know, that's a 10th. Like, does that matter? When I'm making
Yeah.
huge, like, yeah, I got to come up 0.8, like, and it's telling me I'm shooting a 308 at 2780. It's like, okay, like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm wearing the
funky
bolt
there.
out of my forehead like a unicorn. So for me, yeah, if I see crazy shit like that, especially a class, I'm like, nah, man, bump down to BC. Like, it's way easier to just change the BC.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was all our
Like we
questions.
always say, yeah, the bullet doesn't know how to lie to you. So if the bullet's not traveling as efficiently, that's what ballistic coefficient is. It's how efficient it travels through atmosphere. Let the bullet
Yeah,
tell
but
you what it's doing, and then you can tell the Kestrel or tell the
like
solver.
I like I've told a bunch of students, a lot of BC is marketing, right? Like if me and you both own competing bullet companies and I have the best, and then next year you want to make more money. So you come out and you make your bullet and you say, now mine's the best. Even if it's not, you're still going to say it. Well, then next year I'm going to do the same shit and you're going to do the same shit the year after. So there's always that little bit of marketing that goes into things. They're going to post their absolute best one that's ever been recorded and not, the average of things or whatever.
100 million
Because they
percent,
want
because
to
people are in
sell.
business, and I get it. You know what I'm not seeing a lot of? I'm not seeing a lot of G1, G7 on match ammo anymore. You know where I always see G1 ballistic coefficients on the box for ammo?
Cop ammo.
Hunting ammo. Yeah, hunting ammo and
Mm.
cop ammo. Because what do they care about? The deer hunter with the the Remington set, the Winchester 70 that's never been cleaned, he don't give a shit. He buys this one box, he zeroes it, and it's good enough. And we go hunting. Hey man, big high number on the G1. That's where I'm going with, brother. Like it's a thing.
I know some guys that shoot milk jugs at 100 and call it good for hunting season. So
Yeah. Hey man, 30-30's killed a lot of four-legged animals in this continent. Like it's not wrong. It's just
so funny story. The Alabama match, NRL Hunter has a division called Skills, which is basically it's like half the price to enter. You're not eligible for the prize table, but you don't have to follow all the rules. You don't have to follow power factor. You don't have to follow weight limits. You can literally just shoot whatever the hell you want. They can help you on the clock. You can kind of like preview the stages just so you can kind of get an understanding of what's going on and try to help you have a better time. Just kind of a cool thing.
yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
this dude comes out and he is wearing hunting gear with a blaze orange vest, and he looks like he just crawled out of the woods. Super nice guy. I RO'd that match, so He's shooting skills, and he was shooting his 30-06 with Remington core locked ammo. And he actually did fairly well,
Dude, that's
but
great.
very much like, what's the muzzle velocity? Yeah, let's punch this into a calculator. Help. Let's help you out a little bit.
Yeah. Probably a duplex reticle or something,
There,
something real
yes, he did.
simple.
He
Yeah.
had a duplex
That's
reticle,
great though. Ah, good for
and
him, man. Fuck it. Like,
it was his actual hunting gun. So he got out,
yeah.
got some practice. Whether he likes the competition side of it or not, he's gonna be a better hunter after that.
Yeah. I love that that's a thing. Like, you don't have to poo-poo somebody who wants to just come out with their gun and try something. Like, I stock Glock 17, my first pistol match ever. Shot that thing for a year and a half before I figured out what I wanted to get. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing that. You don't expect to win, just expect to have a good time. Be safe and have
Yeah.
fun. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
You don't know what you don't know. If you want to get in a competition, you can see what everybody else is doing before you go buy yourself a Christensen Arms or something and waste all your money. I
Oh,
knew that
brother.
one would get you.
Oh, brother. Yeah, let me bring an all carbon fiber rifle that weighs 4 pounds to a 200 round weekend. Like, that's not going to work out the way you think it is. Oh, and it's 300 PRC. Oh yeah, no, we're gonna have a lot of fun. Luckily for you, I've got a shitload of 308 sitting over here with a 18-pound rifle that's built for this kind of weekend. But
We had one come out as a husband and wife, super nice. And every time she closes the bolt, she's like fucking beating on this thing. And I'm like, what is going on over here? She's like, oh, it just does that. I'm like, no, it doesn't just do that. Like, what kind of ammo are you shooting? So whatever it was, I'm like, hey, let me borrow a couple of your rounds. Same thing, wooden chamber, wooden chamber. I'm like, your chamber's cut wrong. It's like, how many rounds? She's like, oh, I fired like 200 through this. Okay, well, you don't have a carbon ring. So your chamber is just short chambered. So they had to send it back.
yeah, that's
Well,
the gun is telling you something at that point, and that is not a good thing. It's telling you.
yeah. Precision rifles and violence, like the violence into the rifle doesn't go with precision rifle. The
No,
violence happens downrange when the bullet hits stuff.
yeah, exactly.
Beating on a gun's not the way to go.
That's the problem, man. Companies with good marketing, not always the best products.
I will say they are super hit or miss. Like either it's a really nice action and it shoots like shit, or it shoots okay and it's a shit ass action. I have a
Yes, agree.
Christensen 338 and it inch and a half at 300, no problem. But
Yeah,
that action
agree.
just feels like it's made out of sandpaper. Like it
Yeah,
almost
and you usually they're hammered. Like for a hunting gun, they're hammers for like 3 rounds. Like they're
yeah.
awesome. Shot, reload, shot, 5 rounds and passed is like just not ideal.
Correct.
Right on, buddy. Well, what do
Moving
you got
on
coming up?
for Mason Valley next week or this weekend. We leave tomorrow, actually.
That's
Like I
right.
said,
Yeah,
this
you
weekend.
guys are coming down.
Yeah, me and Russ are cruising down there. Gonna see if we can bring a trophy home with the Chonky Boy guns.
At some point, I'll shoot the hunter match in my backyard. Like every year, something happens in March. I can't go. I hate it.
I talked to Serge the other day, the match director. He said they have 155 shooters signed up, so
That's awesome.
should be
He
a
told me
packed
team is
house.
stacked too. He said there's like 9 teams.
Should be more than that, I think. It
Probably
was.
more. This is like 2 months ago, so there should be a lot more.
I want
Yeah.
to say it's
No, sounds
closer to
great.
20 teams, something like that.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that.
You know what's janky about Hunter and the teams? They don't do a second and third place trophy like they do for everybody else.
Yeah,
But
you're either hero or zero.
I will say Scott's match, the one I did in Alabama, they had trophies for the teams, which is kind of cool. And that was
That's
probably a
badass.
Scott thing because Scott's a solid dude. But
Yeah, that's good. So you got NRL, and then what? We got any classes in March for civilian?
we got PR2, which is I forget which weekend. They all kind of blend together, man. The 15th. It's the same weekend as the fruit stand train up.
That's right. Yeah, we're up on Step and Humming as a company. Like this is the busiest time before it gets hot as hell out there.
So you'll be out at the fruit stand. I'll be up at our range, getting some learning
Dude,
on. And
I'm such an idiot. That week before that is our first advanced LE. So I come home Friday. I do the fruit stand train up on Saturday, and then I fly to USASOC on Saturday evening, and then I shoot for a week at USASOC.
well, at least you'll be well trained up. So your class ends on the 14th.
Yeah. So 9th,
All right, cool. So
9th to the 14th is the first LE class of the year.
all right, so you won't have to take the generator back or anything.
No, but
14th.
They are going to hike the hill.
Sucks to suck, nerds.
I just hope I don't find. I don't hope I don't find any snakes this time when I'm setting up the high angle targets.
It's getting to that time of year.
So they're so tan. They blend in so well. Like we didn't see like any. I know you and I didn't see any like the first year at the property, right?
We had seen a couple before Tyler took the contract. He got chased by one out setting up for one of the competitions. I went
Yeah,
looking for
I
him,
saw
never
a
found
rat
him.
snake out there. That was it. And then last year, bro, I shot 3, maybe, and saw probably 5. Like
Well, we had that one when I was talking to you, you were teaching, and I just showed up to shoot that little baby one that
little baby one under
rolled
the
right by my
garbage
foot.
can. Yep,
Yeah, right next to my toes.
that's where you want him to
I
be.
I was training up. I think it was my last like just final zero check dope check for Steel Safari. Was it last year? I think it was last year.
Mm-hmm.
Go out. You had seen one out by like the 800 target, so I took my Benelli out there because you said he was a honker. I was trying to get rid of him.
Bro, it's 4-footer easy.
Yeah, so I took my shotgun out there with me, like, hey, snake protection while I'm setting up steel. Don't see anything, don't get rattled at nothing. I come back, I check our rock pile. Every single crevice I check. Cool, no snakes. Grab my gun, grab my tripod. I'm like 4 rounds in, and I hear, oh shit, where's he at? Where's he at? I look at one of the spots I had just checked. There's 2 snakes going at it mating. I'm like, well, nope. Benelli, boom.
You sent me that video. Yeah, and then I'm hiking dudes up to the field course, and I get past the lip to go to stage 1,
Mhm.
and he lights off 2 feet from where I was standing, right in front of
Ooh.
one of the students, and I was like, "Nope." Grabbed a 308. Was like,
Oh,
"Sorry,
you
bud."
308, 308
Oh
him?
yeah, every time I don't have a pistol on my hip, I find a snake. I wear my pistol, I don't see anything out there the entire class. Yeah, dude, I grabbed a guy's AI and just put 2 tap 168s at that thing. Just no scope, just 360 no scope in it, man. Like I didn't even get a sight picture.
I had one last year on the road back into the property. Like after one of the days we were finished, I was coming back to the range after dinner, and I see this oh, 2.5, 3 footer, not overly huge, but he's on the road and he's not like on our property. I'm like, I'm just gonna scurry this guy out of the way. Get away from us. Get off the road.
Yeah.
I park 10 feet from him, maybe a little bit farther. I step out of my car and he starts striking. I'm like, I'm not even near you, dude. Like, what?
Yep.
You're way too aggressive. Sorry. Bink.
Yep. You gotta die.
Yeah. I was gonna be nice, but nope. You strike at me, you're done.
They're desert creatures. They hate everything.
If he's not bothering anybody, I got no problem letting him just scurry away.
Same,
But if
but
but if you're
they're
gonna be
aggressive
aggressive
out
like that
there.
to people, like nah, we're
Yeah.
we're we're
No.
good.
Nah, man. I've come back from Adelitas with my girl. Like, you gotta die.
Oh man.
Hell yeah, buddy. Well, glad we got together. Hopefully we can do it in less than a month. I don't know. I'm on the road. I'll be back. Yeah, I'll be back at end of March. Hopefully we can get one in before then. If not, we'll definitely do one end of March.
Sounds good, buddy.
All right. Well, good luck this weekend. Take
Thanks,
take
homie.
some souls.
We'll see what we can do.
All
300
right, buddy.
song,
We'll
break
talk.
all the steel.
Break all the steel.
Sorry, Serge. Fuck you.
You be all right.